Welcome! In this video, I'll walk you through a short, low-stakes knowledge check that I created to help learners get comfortable navigating the Encompass loan origination system. So this was meant to be a very low-stakes knowledge check. It was following up after a series of videos that we had created to introduce people to the environment. And so this was really meant to make sure that people had access to their resources, that they could answer basic information, but was not really meant to trip anybody up or throw anyone any curveballs. So to that effect, we have our hints that we make sure to point out to everybody before prompting them to begin. And we even start out with a fairly easy question here, just making sure that they can access their recently viewed loans, because for most officers, that's what they're going to be doing as soon as they open up this interface. So there's Kim as our answer, and we can move on. Now this is probably my favorite slide. I'm very excited to show you all the back end of this one, because as you can see, it highlights every area that I select, because originally we had some feedback from some subject matter experts during our test that this little sonar looking icon that is native to Articulate was a little hard to see, especially on that blue background. So they weren't really sure whether or not they had selected things. But of course, if I only did like one or two of these, it'd be very easy to guess if learners were savvy and decided to use their tab tool. It's pretty easy to play process elimination with that. So I created a whole bunch of these, made different layers for each one of them, and then it would tell everybody where they were selected. I think this might be my runner-up. It is not particularly difficult to program. However, this could only be answered if you had your knowledge base article up in your other window. And it's very good about telling you, hey, you can go find this. It's on page 7. It links to where our guide is in the knowledge base, but it does not give you any context clues. You cannot answer this if you were not looking at the guide. So again, this is one of those where it's very easy to answer, but it does ensure that you have gone and found that resource and pulled it up. So it's sort of building in those habits of allowing people to kind of internalize, like, okay, where are my resources? Where do I find this? And then we hit the sort of the downhill slope is how I think of this section, because this one, again, is somewhat easy. You can find your loan officer and answer that fair enough, because we didn't want to throw too many hard ones at our learners. We want to build some confidence. Because, of course, as you see, there's a lot of different windows in here. And so, we can tell them like where our bolded items are. We highlight this whole section. We're not giving them the answer. So some of this is also building learner confidence, because this is a large system. There's a lot of different options. Again, we had our custom forms. We needed to make sure that they knew where those were. And then this was a sorting option that was covered in our videos. And then that's it, and it would ping our LMS when the learner was done, submit their score. So this is the hotspot slide. That's question number 2 that I was excited to show everybody. So each of these hotspots here corresponds to its own layer. And so then that is the layer that populates when we click it. Additionally, I also had the slides here for our correct and incorrect sections, because if we take a look at the correct slide for most of these questions, this is the standard master slide for our answers. So it's right smack in the middle of the slide, which means that if I wanted to point out exactly which link people were needing to click, this wouldn't have matched up. It would have covered it. So what I had to do up here was go into the design of the feedback master slides and create a custom one, which is not terribly hard to do. Anyone who uses PowerPoint knows what this looks like, where there's a large slide that controls all the other slide options underneath it. But what that means is that if you get into here, you move around this dialog box, you might notice, oh, my check mark and my X's aren't there, and you have to come under here and locate this and move it around, and do that for every slide underneath. So it can be a lot of steps for new Articulate users. It's not particularly complicated, but it is a lot to keep track of. So it's a little, it's just an exciting little feature of this slide. I don't know, other instructional designers that are watching this, do y'all have like favorite slides in an e-learning? We should do like favorite slide Friday. It'd be very cute. Okay, well, that is it. That concludes our tour. So thank you so much for watching. Again, this example shows how I use simple interactions and guided practice to help learners build confidence without adding a lot of pressure. I appreciate you checking out my work, and I will see you next time. Bye.